My name is Oscar.
My name is Carl, and this is Who Would Watch This.
Welcome to Who to Watch This, the podcast where we normally watch a film and then chat about it and then try and figure out who to watch this. But today we are throwing that format out the window because
It's gone.
Because we just thought, we've been seeing some films at Sydney Film Festival. We love films. Constantly we bring up films we should watch, but we also sometimes we're negative. And you know what? Not today.
Not today.
We love film. We're going to chat about some lovely films we watched, recommend some, just chat about it generally like that.
Yeah, some ones you should look out for. I think a lot of these are on the precipice of being released.
Mm-hmm.
Some don't have a release, I don't think. Yeah.
Some go hunting because they're some lovely films that I think everyone would love.
Yeah.
Carl, should we get into it? We'll do a little. I've seen some that you haven't seen. You've seen some that I haven't seen, and then we watched a couple together. We'll do a little tit for tat.
Yes, let's do it that way. I love that.
Beautiful. We'll have a little sound chime, and we'll get into the first one.
We're going to start with The Mastermind, which is Kelly Reichardt brings her unique sensibility to this breezy 1970s set art heist drama, a Cannes competition contender starring Josh O'Connor and Alana Haim.
Oh my God, lovely. How are we feeling about this one? We both watched this together. This was a nice, I think this might be the first one I watched, so it was very nice.
Yeah. Look, I think, have you seen anything of Kelly Reichardt before?
No. And I do think it was good to be told roughly what her other films are like. I was also very in a lovely warm cinema. So it's a nice warm film to watch, but it is also nice slow drama, and then it also ends up being oh god, oh help me, oh god. So it's an odd film to watch when you're in sleep and you go oh no. But let's just get into it. It's beautiful.
It is an absolutely beautiful period piece. It is phenomenally shot. I think Josh O'Connor also had one of the best performances at the festival.
Oh wow, that's great. Because again, like I don't think it's miscast, but I'm all like in on challenges. I'm
yeah,
just like,
for sure.
He's great.
There's a part of this movie where he came with his shirt off, and they're like, "Oh, doesn't he look like lanky?" And I'm like, "No, he's perfect."
I don't think it's a spoiler, but the film kind of sort of becomes him robbing an art studio with some people. It sort of goes a bit awry. It's sort of starting off with a bit like, is he great at this? Is this his job? What's going on? And it sort of just leeches into, oh God, he's not good at this. He's kind of a waste in society. And we just sort of see him not even unravel, just him like squeezing out the last bit of life, I guess.
Yeah, it's sort of like a thread being pulled, right?
Yeah.
And it's like him sort of like choking, trying to stay afloat and stay ahead of what's happening. But it's all happening at a very glacial pace. Like I wouldn't say it's a particularly fast-paced film. And I think the movie's probably at its most active in the first third.
Yes.
And then the next two thirds are very much like a let's sit in this and let's sort of wait it out and go with him on the journey that he's having. I definitely enjoyed my time watching it. It wouldn't be my favorite of hers, and it's definitely my favorite of the festival.
Which other ones have you seen of hers?
I've seen Meek's Cutoff and First Cow. And I do think they're of a similar tone. I think First Cow is a more enjoyable watch. Although I think this is still very engrossing. I was excited for her because I think this is like a different plot for her to explore and a different character.
Yeah.
So I do think now, having seen these three, I think her best like directorial attribute is like how she's able to handle a time period. Because First Cow's even further back in American
Which is
history
harder
than this.
to do.
Yeah.
Everyone knows cavemans are tough to do.
They sure are. Man
The
with a cow.
2000 piss easy.
Yeah. I'm going to give The Mastermind a 3.5 out of 5.
I also gave it 3.5. It might go a little bit lower. It's not as stayed as much with me because I think I've seen a lot of other great films. But yeah, 3.5. Look at that. Carl, we'll get into one film that I've just seen and you haven't. So you can ask me a little bit of questions, but this is a fun little documentary I saw called Predators. Predators, this gripping film pulls back the curtain on the controversial pedophile hunting reality TV show To Catch a Predator from the 2000s, and it examines its complex cultural legacy. Wow, bloody wee. I watched, I think, 3 documentaries at Sydney Film Festival. This is probably my highest one. I absolutely loved it. If you haven't seen To Catch a Predator, it's all on YouTube because it pretty much, and I think that's where it's sort of become very popular. Chris Hansen, with a team of police, pretty much do sting operations to catch predators and then call them out. And if you've seen the show, you sort of get this like a bit of like, it's like, oh, it's it's quite humiliating for the pedophile. You're like, that's good and that's fine, but it always feels a bit like, oh, that it feels a bit off. And I always felt watching that, that's what I felt. But you don't really have a reason for that. You're like, well, no, the person deserves it. And this documentary goes into behind the scenes, how they actually did it and the impact of it. And you kind of go, oh my God, how horrid. And I think it does a real nice toeing the line of like, no, these are still pedophiles that have done bad things, but also why was this show created? And it seems like it's actually not created for any good reason other to entertain. And it's almost this insidious thing of like them just being as bad. Yeah, I just think it's got some fantastic segments. They sort of go into sort of the raw footage of the program, sort of see how they cut it into a certain way. So you kind of like, they cut away the empathy. It sort of goes into how like a bunch of YouTubers have sort of recreated it. And although the show didn't have many morals, it had a bit of like, we're working with cops and stuff. These new YouTubers are just vile. And then also just goes into why the show exists and really it should not exist and how the media combine with the show to make entertainment is bad. I loved it. It's fantastic.
What made you gravitate towards this one? Have you heard about it?
I think I've watched To Catch a Predator. I think it's a great. You sort of watch it and it is so entertaining. I think a lot of people sort of go, oh, you're like hungover, you're like let's watch that. So it's all on YouTube. It's got loads of views. Have you ever seen the show?
Like, I've seen clips.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever seen a whole episode of it or anything. And I definitely know it. Like, the title's obviously very famous. The format's very famous.
Yes.
So I know the formatting of an episode.
Yes. I think I've just seen it. And when I saw it up at the festival, I was like, oh, damn, I wouldn't mind seeing that. And really, it's just upsetting. Massive recommend for this one. I'd probably give it 4 stars.
I also saw Blue Moon, which starred Ethan Hawke, Margaret Qualley, and Andrew Scott in Richard Linklater's new hilarious chamber piece set in the world of musical theatre.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, this was very similar to... Look, it's a one-location film. Might as well be a bit of a play. But very, very strong out-of-the-gate performance from Ethan Hawke, who basically doesn't get a chance to breathe the entire movie. He's always chatting, always monologuing. And I think a different actor would probably have made this kind of grating, but he's definitely able to walk a fine line. Same with, I think, Richard Linklater's doing a lot here, but this is definitely coming across as much more of a, like, we got to make, like, a little movie, like, about this thing, and is anybody ever really going to remember it? No. I think people will definitely remember Ethan Hawke's performance, which is really, like, good in it. And there's some really excellent dialogue. Like, the dialogue is very sharp. It's definitely, like, overwritten, but it's purposefully so. Yeah, I thought it was a very like enjoyable time, but this was one of the more forgettable ones that I saw at the festival this year. I think everybody seems to be really hyped on the other Richard Linklater movie coming out this year.
Which one's that one?
It's like how they made the movie Breathless, shot in the style of Breathless.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah, and everyone seems to be like, it's like if Mank was good. That's
hey, stop the Mank slander. How dare you?
Yeah, everyone loves me. You name your 3 favorite things about Mank.
The fact that I watched Citizen Kane to get ready for Watch Mank, and then Netflix like it's coming out in 2 weeks. I went, well, won't watch Mank. So I watched Citizen Kane because of Mank. So good for Mank.
I watched Citizen Kane day of seeing Mank. Man, that's not the way to do it. You go, holy crap.
Do you think they thought that day of just like, people are going to watch the best film ever and then my film. And maybe it's a good film, but after watching Citizen Kane, it won't be better than Citizen Kane.
It's simply a slog. He's like, what if I made a slog? And you're like, God damn it, David. But yeah, look, Blue Moon's a very enjoyable time. I think this is... I would compare it to like Judy, which is... I don't think anyone really remembers Judy, but she won an Oscar for it.
Yeah.
And she is good in that film.
Maybe it's just, but I feel like I'm very, very aware of the film Judy.
Well, I bring it up a lot
You
because
do.
it's hilarious to me that Judy exists. Who cares about that film? It's crazy it got an Oscar, but whatever.
Good for them.
Yeah, good for them. I'd be giving Blue Moon a 3 out of 5. The Golden Spurtle by Constantine Costi, a crowd pleaser set in the picturesque Scottish village where contestants from around the globe have gathered for the annual World Porridge Making Championship.
This one was beautiful.
Hot ticket at the festival.
This was stunning. Absolutely loved it. I know it's like technically got a phrase, like it's just symmetrical framing, but it's Wes Anderson-y.
It's Wes Anderson.
I'm
He's
sorry.
made it his own.
He's done a quarter of a century of doing it. I'm sorry. I know like it's not his, but that's okay. But it is shot in that style. It's all framed gorgeously and it's so quaint. This little porridge town, all the characters they get are just so lovely and lived in, and it was a lot of laughs in the cinema for us. It was really funny, and I teared up by the end. It's just this.
I teared up as well.
Yeah.
It is really beautiful.
It's a massive recommend. I think you guys should check it out. Like, if you've ever thought 70 minutes of just porridge making little competition, so quaint, lovely.
It's definitely like a wake up on a winter's morning, put it on, watch it with a tea. Very much you need to be under a blanket. I think it's so charming, and it's a really good subject matter in the sense that it's just a fun thing to have found, and I think the style really does elevate it. I don't know
100%.
whose idea it was to be like, what if we shot it with like in a Wes Anderson style? But man, it elevates the documentary.
100%. I just think all the comedy hits so much more. You get these little sequences of characters like opening little doors and just poking their little heads out. It's like, this is porridge. It's just really fun.
And it's also very well edited. Like very well edited, very well written for a documentary as well. I think I don't know who I guess to give the compliments to, but the reason the comedy hits so well is because there's a really succinct style to the stories that are being told and where they're ending and then what they're cut to at the end of their story.
Yeah.
Very, very well done. I don't know who did it. Do we think it was a production designer that went into every house? Do we think the houses just look like this? What do you reckon
I guess they must. I mean, but then like all the train stations, all like the sort of the whole village itself. I guess it's just a good cinematographer just going, I'm going to spend time to get the frame right, and then be like, all right, now come into frame, and they all came into frame. Like it's so crazy how much character you get with just someone walking into the frame and sitting down. You go, oh, I know you immediately.
Yeah, I think that it's definitely a documentary that lives as well by the characters that it's been able to find. And I say characters because they're such larger than life people. But I think the director was saying, because the director came to like every session at Sydney Film Festival, seemed like a lovely young man. But he was saying that basically somebody was like, you need to go to church, and then if you meet everyone at church, you'll like know if you have a documentary or not. And then you see what church is like there, and you go, that's hilarious.
Okay, you're good.
So I do think it is just like the best time. I think it's also got a great center point character to focus on. I think sometimes when you watch a documentary, you're focusing on the wrong subject to explore what you want to, but I think the lead guy who's handling the competition is such a great character.
So beautiful, so kind, and not just like rigid, but also just like he's got his own way, but like, I don't really mind. But he's so passionate about it.
I love
you feel for it. I love him.
There's that scene where he's in an argument where he's like, I don't have time for this. Do it your way.
Yeah.
It's like
that just
sternly just like, you can do what you would like to do.
Really fun. Absolutely loved it. Yeah. I'll give it 4 out of 5.
I'll be giving it a 3.5. Now it feels like we're in a real Margaret and David.
Oh, I love it. What do you think, David? Well, Carl, Sydney Film Festival also had some retrospectives, and for that they had the Elaine May series, which, if you don't know, Elaine May made, I think, 4 films, maybe 5, in the 70s and early 80s. 3 started off pretty well respected, doing well, and then made a massive bomb. Issachar, with Dustin Hoffman and I can't remember who else. I think it's Warren Beatty, which ruined her career, which is a shame. But I think she's getting a bit of retrospective. Everyone's like, you know what? They all slap. So I've seen Mikey and Nikki before, which is about 2 con men, one's trying to get the other on the other one. That's great, but I wanted to go see one in the actual cinema. So I watched A New Leaf, which is a playboy trust fund runs dry. He fixes gauge on the fortune of a dotty botanist, played by Elaine May herself, in the zesty, hysterical debut. He's pretty much, I love, you know how like a modern comedy, they're like, it's 2 hot people and they're a bit like, you got like a Ryan Reynolds or you got a Pedro Pascal. They're sort of doing that sort of, I'm coy, I'm fun, a bit cheeky. No, I love 70s and 80s comedies where they're just like, here's an insane person and we're going to do a lot of good writing for you to like this person. This guy's like an asexual monster rich bastard. And it starts with him losing all his money and then having this beautiful little montage of him just mourning all the things he's lost. And it's played so well. And then you've also got this Elaine May, who's playing this like botanist, like dotty character, and they shouldn't work. And then throughout the whole film, you're like, I don't think they're going to fall in love together. I don't think they're going to fall in love together. And then at the end, in spoilers, they turn a new leaf. Oh my God. I absolutely love this. It's so beautiful. I just love romantic movies. I love romantic movies that have like essentially like they're working against it. Like these are bad people. They're bad characters. But then at the end, you come and fall in love with them. Absolutely loved it. Have you seen anything like this?
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
Completely. You've sold me though.
Yeah.
Like I'm very interested in doing it. I would have loved to have caught more retrospectives.
Yeah.
But between, I don't know, the 14 films, it was
Just
like,
an absolute nightmare.
one I can see on TV at home.
Yeah.
Like-
Also, the crowd was just loving it. I bet
it was probably great. In
it was I think that's why I wanted to watch it, because I watched Mikey and Nikki by myself and I was like, I like this. I'm not fully getting. I think there's little moments of comedy that I'm missing, and then the emotional ending didn't really come for me. But I think in the cinema, this was so good. Big fan of it. New Leaf, 4.5 stars. Wow.
I also saw the Ballad of Wallis Island. Carey Mulligan stars in this charming comedy in which an eccentric lottery winner bankrolls an unwitting reunion of his favorite musical duo, who happens to be former lovers.
Wow, that was cheeky.
Yeah, a very, very fun premise. Very small in scope. It's all completely set on just a tiny island. There's basically about 5 characters in the entire movie. It has 2 absolutely charming performances, especially by the eccentric lotto winner. It feels very much like he is playing somebody from the Golden Spurtle. Like, really charming. He has a really great character trait, which is because he's isolated on the island and he has no one to talk to. He runs, he's in a monologue via his mouth. And so when he is with other people, he doesn't stop doing that. And obviously that catches people off guard, that he is just talking to himself at all times, even while he's having a conversation with you. And it's a really, really fun trait. And I think they do a really good balance, because he could be quite an annoying character and they just play him just right. He's in it just the right amount.
Yeah.
I thought this is halfway through. I was like, did the guy that did Sing Street do this, or Begin Again, or Once? Because it feels very that really effortless charm to it. Really good
Quaintness, but not
Yes.
they're not running you dry.
Really quaint. I think I would equate this to be like a fantastic watch on a plane. Like, it is really lovely. It's really honest. I don't think it never makes the generic decision, especially when it sets itself up to a few times and you go, I think I know where this is going, and then it does not do that, which I really appreciated. But it is very much just down to sort of the 2 central performances, which is between an artist that is sold out and has never really gained the critical acclaim he had when he was performing with his wife. And then the wife comes to the island with her new husband.
Yeah, great.
So yeah, there's a nice little foreground. There's a few things that don't pay off, but it was really charming. It's just one of those ones that I would never see in a cinema. And clearly just really makes a good impact, because the comedy just really hit with a crowd. Really definitely elevated the viewing experience of it. I would recommend it. I think people would very much have a good time with this. When my father had a breakdown, and for a while he was like, I can't watch any movies that have violence, loud noises, arguing, certain things that were very much a bit of a would set him off. It really shrinked the pool of trying to find an entertaining movie to watch with him. And so when these ones sort of pop up, I always give them a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt as to why they exist and who they're
that's
for.
Lovely. That's lovely.
So I had a really enjoyable time with this. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5.
Lovely.
And now to something we both saw, Twinless.
Oh, absolutely fantastic.
Dylan O'Brien and the director and co-star James Sweeney shine in this queer bromance comedy about 2 grieving twins, an ingenious, unpredictable, and hilarious crowd favorite from Sundance.
Yeah. We got told this was a dramedy. My God, laughs a minute. This is packed cinema. Everyone is laughing at every joke. It all hits. Every little editing choice, every little pause, every little line, all fantastically hits. And then the premise itself, great.
Yeah, we won't spoil anything. It is expertly directed. And there's some really creative directorial choices in it as well. But the screenplay is fucking
So
spot on.
tight.
Really sharp.
Yeah, I don't think anything's wasted. For what this film is, it's the best it can be, you know? It's all the parameters, it's absolutely heightened. Loved it. We won't spoil it, but yeah.
I think we can get into the performances though, because I think this is the best Dylan O'Brien's ever been.
Yeah. I was surprised at how little he's been in. It's been really those Maze Runner films, that episode of The Other Two where he's I'm the fucking Maze Runner.
And
I guess that's
Teen
it.
Wolf.
Teen Wolf.
This is big thing. I've never just thought much of him as an actor. And he's always been fine in the things I've watched of him. I guess he's never really been asked to do a lot. But here he is very good.
Yeah.
And he is asked to do a lot.
Yeah.
And I think he makes some... I don't know. I would assume the director has very confidently been you can do a handful of these things, and he's just run with them in a really fantastic way.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think if you get a chance to watch it without seeing any sort of marketing, that's the best bet for enjoying it.
I don't know. I feel like it's going to break out a little bit. I think
I
surely
hope it would.
I'd be surprised if it doesn't.
I think if it got some really good backing behind it, I feel like I think like you could push this for like a screenwriting nomination.
Yeah.
Like I think the script is like a real shining light there.
Yeah.
Especially because it is really just like, I don't know, what would you say? It's like 4 central performances in
Pretty
the whole
much,
movie?
yeah, pretty much, and maybe 1 or 2 side characters.
Yeah, that's yeah.
that all hit.
Yeah, which all hit. And I mean it is, and it feels like big. Like they've done, is it New York it was set in?
No, I think it was like a Chicago.
Yeah.
I don't really know city.
Yeah,
It
I don't know American cities.
It wasn't New York, but it was another one of those metropolitan ones. It was one of those. It was very good.
But yeah.
I think we can't say much more. I'd just say it's a big recommend. If you can watch it, go watch it.
Yep.
I'm giving it 4.5 stars.
I also am giving it a 4.5. I also saw Life of Chuck. Tom Hiddleston stars in this majestic Toronto's People's Choice Award-winning film from Mike Flanagan, an affirming celebration of the preciousness of every individual. This has just gotten its full cinematic release in America.
Oh, terrific.
So I'm sure I don't need to talk about it too much in the way of being like, I've seen something you haven't. I thought this was a fantastic time. It got the People's Choice, which is usually quite, I mean, it's a big award to get at TIFF. And I can definitely see why. I think it's very creative. I think a lot of that choices is from its original short story. I've seen some critiques about it being overly sentimental, which I mean I could agree with, but I'm also like, stop being a Grinch.
I love that critique because it really depends on how you feel. Because if you're not fully vibing, it's like, this is a bit of a wank fest. But if you cry, you go, well, that's just how film works.
I think what was really, I mean, personally, like, I didn't cry, and I cried in a lot of the movies this year at Sydney Film Festival, but the way it's structured is, it's done into 3 chapters, and you have sort of a very abstract first chapter, and then you have a middle one, which is simply about a single moment in a person's life, and then you've got the biggest chapter, which is probably like an hour, which is like the ending, just focusing a little bit on childhood. And then it has a really lovely little ending. It's definitely the most mainstream of any of the movies that were at the festival in terms of the script's very tight, it all folds into itself. There's no real lead performances. I'm shocked that the whole advertisement campaign has been like Tom Hiddleston, who's maybe got like 14 minutes of screen time.
Yeah, damn.
So, and I mean, one of those moments of screen time is fantastic. It is like the scene of the movie.
Yeah.
So I get why they've done that. I think if there is anything that definitely rubbed me the wrong way, it has very overbearing narration. And I think the final scene, which is like a great moment, the people next to me did not see it coming. They had a big gasp. It was almost like they were like, oh, the film. they were like, I get it now. And then unfortunately, I think if we'd sat in that silence, I think that moment would be really good. But unfortunately, the narration sort of comes in to explain it.
Yeah.
But then
He's sad because of loss. You're like, oh, that's what that's about, huh?
I think, but then it's also Stephen King, and there's things like Shawshank Redemption, which has like a lot of narration in it, same as The Green Mile. So I think when it's come to these dramas, there is a format to do a Stephen King drama. Stand By Me is the other one as well. All of them have overbearing narration. And
Do they have that in the books then?
Sorry?
Do they have that in the books? Or is that just an internal monologue? Or is he did a screenplay?
I don't know. I guess Frank Darabont did Green Mile and Shawshank. But I mean, the Shawshank's such a short novel. This is also a novella. Like they've really expanded the fuck out of this one. But yeah, I think it is I would rewatch this. It has very much grown on me.
Yeah.
And I can see as well, audience-wise, I think critics are a little bit like, but audiences are like, no, this is good.
Yeah.
And my audience was really infatuated by it, which I think also really helped to it. So I'm giving it a 4 out of 5.
Carl, I also saw Orwell 2 + 2 = 5. This is a powerful exploration of George Orwell and his novel 1984 reveals just how deeply his warning resonates today. This was an interesting one. I watched this with a few friends and my partner. In the moment, the spine of the documentary is essentially the life of George Orwell. They've got this sort of motif running through. He's got tuberculosis. They've got sort of this heavy gasping throughout the whole thing. Kind of goes into his whole life. And then as a result, compares it to 1984, the novel, how it is today, and sort of the core tenets of the book. I think it's a bit of a mess. I think it uses a lot of current sort of topics and doesn't really do anything with them. It will show some pretty devastating tragedies that are having at the moment in our world, and sort of equates it to sort of the book of 1984. And I don't know, you see some pretty horrible images, and you're like, oh, okay, that's what we're doing here. But I don't think it really goes into depth of why it's sort of happening, and it just sort of feels a bit empty, which is odd. The most interesting thing I found about the documentary was sort of George Orwell's life. It is funny to see that he pretty much spent his whole life going to sort of countries and being an oppressor, which I think is how he's sort of come up with the book and sees how these systems work, because he's sort of been in the systems themselves. I don't know. I sort of left and just felt like it showed all these horrible atrocities, sort of loosely based, like this is 1984, and didn't really have any reason of sort of how this comes together or why this is happening now or equating it to then. And it just sort of feels like a retread of pretty stock standard concepts about why these sort of systems happen. And yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really a big fan. The one thing I will say is they use a lot of footage of the film 1984, the 50s one and the 80s one. And I may want to watch the 80s one. But yeah, wasn't a big fan of this one. I just don't think it did a documentary very good. They also have this whole sequence. Maybe this is just how the world's working right now, but it's moving very quickly. So they're sort of like AI generated images are going to be a big mess. And they have a lot of sequences where they show horrible AI art and then sort of have a stinger of that was AI art. Like, we know.
Yeah.
We know.
I think, look, it's not aimed at us. Our age could definitely tell what is AI art and not.
Yeah.
And then like a parent's just like, look at all these puppies that are like
morphed into a cupcake.
Yeah.
Okay, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd they do that on Australia's Got Talent? And you're like, because it was AI.
Yeah, I feel like it's like made last year, and I already feel like Trump and Elon are best friends. It's like, okay, guys, or you're a little bit behind. You're late. Give it a moment. I did not love this one too much. I'd give it a 2.5 out of 5.
I saw The Love That Remains, directed by, and I'm going to butcher this, I do apologize, Heilner Palmerson. It's his follow-up to Godland, with this tender, poignant, and delightfully surprising constellation, a hilarious portrait of an Icelandic family as their parents navigate their separation. I was not expecting this movie to be so surreal. It is beautifully shot. Mm-hmm. It is an absolute gorgeous movie. It has some fantastic time lapses. It really uses its location to its advantage. There is specifically a scene with a giant chicken that had the audience just like, what is happening right now?
Sick.
It's definitely very raw, and I think it took a little while for me to navigate the tone of the movie because, frankly, the write-up of like a hilarious portrait, I don't know if I'd say it was hilarious. It's definitely darkly funny.
Yeah.
It's also kind of crushing and heartbreaking. So yeah, I think the audience was really, I think this I felt a real division seeing this one. I think, when we were seeing Twinless and a joke would land and it's like all 2,000 people are laughing.
Yeah.
This was that like there's pockets like around the cinema. Mm-hmm. So you're like, okay, not everybody's on the wavelength of the movie. Mm-hmm. It also has a fantastic performance by a dog named Panda in it.
Oh my God.
Now Panda won the Palm Dog at Cannes this year.
Carl, explain what the Palm Dog is.
Basically, the critics at Cannes will give away the award for best dog performance on screen. And Panda's won it twice. And frankly, really deserves it. I gotta tell you, I was all about fucking Panda. Panda is like the dog you want and need.
Yeah.
I would adopt that dog in a heartbeat. It's so well trained. It's having a ball on screen, a lot of charisma. Mm-hmm. Frankly, a lot of the comedy's from what the dog's doing. There's a part where the dog gets washed and you're like, I'd watch an hour of this. But yeah, no, I was very much taken by this, and I think it's definitely worth a watch if it's going to be your cup of tea. I think it was one of the more, I don't want to say pretentious movies, but it was definitely one of the more like, this is a film you see at a film festival movies. Yeah. So yeah, and for that, I'm going to be giving it a 3.5 out of 5. Before we jump onto the final movie that we watched together, I'm just going to give a really quick shout out to Slanted. Slanted was directed by Amy Wang. In a twisted satire, sees an aspiring prom queen undergo radical surgery to change her race.
Very fun.
This was directed by somebody from Newtown in Sydney, and this was at a Newtown screening. The director was there. She did a Q&A. She seems lovely. She's lived in America for the past 6 years, and she's produced this film, written and directed it based on her own sort of values through high school. I think this is a fantastic premise, and I think there's some really phenomenal comedy in it as well. Really outlandish. There is an odd sense where some of the movie feels like it's taking place within like the universe of Mean Girls, but some of the characters aren't in on that joke. And it was a real odd tonal thing that so many different parts of the movie were heightened comedy and then other parts weren't at all. And I don't think that tightrope walk of the tone had been done correctly in my opinion. But I think as a first feature, definitely really ambitious and really exciting. So big props to her.
Hells yeah. I'm seeing it tonight. We're also seeing Splitsville tonight.
Yeah, Splitsville. I'm seeing Eddington as well.
Yeah.
So
we're recording this seconds before we go
Seconds before, because we're so wrapped on time. Oscar's clamoring to hop on a plane and I'm excited to get in a car and get out of this fucking city. So
Carl, last film we both watched together, Sentimental Values, is the winner of the Cannes Grand Prix. Roshim Chia? How do you pronounce his name?
I mean, don't bother if you don't think you can do it. I was embarrassed having to do my guy, so...
This is the follow-up to Worst Person in the World, which I absolutely adore. It's an intimate family drama about the power of art. Stellan Skarsgård and Elle Fanning also contribute to an excellent ensemble cast. Wowee. Carl, how do you feel about it?
I think I was really excited for this one because I thought Worst Person in the World was just fantastic.
Yeah.
This is nowhere near as, I think, faster paced or accessible as Worst Person in the World. And I was sort of hoping it would be because we took people who had not seen
Worst
Person in the World. And so I really thought it was going to be
I think we're hyping up very much a
different film, to be honest.
Yeah.
And that's not to say that this was bad. I just think I needed to rejig what I thought this movie was going to be.
Yes.
And I do think that this is a really beautiful movie, really fantastic performances, and I think it has fantastic direction as well.
100%.
Yeah. It took me a while to really get into what I thought the movie was saying or trying to depict. And it was really late. It was like a 9:40 session. We were also tipsy.
Yeah.
So I think that didn't help.
Yeah, it's a 2.5 hour, and it is beautiful. And I think what it's saying, I think Worst Person in the World, baseline, fantastic movie. But I think what elevates it, and all films in general, is just that emotional punch to the face.
Yeah.
And I love that. And I was really gearing up for just like, go on, punch me in that goddamn face. Go nuts, go nuts. And I think the central theme is a father essentially using his art to, come to terms with how he sees his daughter. I'm very simplifying it. I don't want to spoil it. I think everyone should go watch it. But I feel like I didn't fully connect to that as a result. I think that's what let me down, which is a shame because it's a great little story.
Absolutely. I also think the final 20 minutes is particularly good. I think that was a really, really great wrap up. And I can see where for people that are probably more relatable to aspects of the movie would get that final gut punch.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, for me, I didn't hit in the same way. But I'd be very interested in watching it again without the expectations that I was having. I think
so. I mean, it's a lovely comment on art, and I feel
it really is. Yeah. It's a really...
And just seeing, that director's probably doing... I think they wrote it as well. Seeing the impact of being a great director, because you're like, oh, God, oh, goodness, maybe art's not worth it, I love when films like, hey, stop.
I also do think you probably need to be into film. Because I had no idea of the plot.
No, me neither.
And when it was like, this is about a director and about an actress, and I was like, okay, so this is a very film movie.
And I gotta tell you, there was a big laugh in the cinema about a piano teacher joke, which was hilarious. But I mean, goddamn, what a pretentious little joke.
Oh yeah, if you don't know like the plot of those movies that it says in that like time, which I mean, I think we were both with people that did not get that joke.
Yeah,
man, they were like, why is everyone guffawing over this joke right now?
And you gotta go, no, it's sort of this exploration exploration into femininity and its repression. It's a hoot. You guys, check out Piano Teacher. It's a 5-star film, but I mean, yeah, it's a little bit just one of those jokes like, all right. But it's great. It made me laugh very much. But and it also, I just love, it has got a nice little sensibility about it, a little sense of humor. I do like these sort of mixed foreign films with a bit of English speaking in there, because there's normally quite a lot of fun little jokes thrown in. I quite enjoy that. I liked it. I wanted to love it. I think I need to rewatch. I'm giving it 4 stars.
Yeah, I'm also giving it 4 stars. And that's what we watched.
Yeah. City Film Festival. How good are films? I love films. You guys gotta check them out.
We're lucky to have it here.
Yeah.
We'll always support it.
Yeah.
So that's always a fun thing to do. If you have never heard of it, go support it. If you're not from Sydney, I don't know.
Check out some of these films. I don't know how you access them.
Neither. I assume some of them have distribution, others don't. I'm sure you're going to be hearing about a few of these as time goes on. So, yeah, I think we've made it explicitly clear which ones to go and seek out.
Yeah.
And we need to go.
Yeah.
So have a delightful evening, day, or time.
Oh, beautiful. That's our new send-off. Goodbye.
Bye.